about historical accuracy? What if when the historian goes, sorry, Sir Ridley, it didn't quite happen like that? You go, listen, I've done enough with you.
Well,
you have to have artistic license,
I
right?
would say, how did you know, were you there? They go, oh, no, right. So exactly. So I said, Rod had 400 books written about him. So it means maybe the first one was the most accurate. The next one is already doing a version of the writer. Yeah. By the time you get to 399, guess what? A lot of speculation.
Just another movie night.
Hello and welcome to a Black Friday. The Blackest Friday. This is before and after reviews where we go and see a brand new movie in the theater and give our thoughts before and after. And I am Scott.
And I'm Joe.
And we're just another movie night. And yeah, this is Black Friday, and we're going to see a brand new movie called Napoleon by Ridley Scott.
Yeah.
So look, the debate's going to be, and by the way, if I sound nasally, it's because I am sick. I am under the weather because it's the holidays, and it always happens to me.
But you look good.
Oh, thank you.
You have that going for you.
Which is nice. But the debate's going to be, can you enjoy a movie when it's based on historic character or facts and it sways those against those facts and just makes a movie? Can it still be enjoyable? I think that's the big question here, because I know right out of the gate you in particular are mad or just questioning the idea that the actors are involved and they're not French or whatever you wanted to say. So really, what do you think about this overall? Like this idea that you can enjoy a movie outside of that?
Here's the thing. I think you can enjoy a movie for any reason that you'd like to enjoy the movie for, whether it's for fast cars, hot babes, whatever you want to enjoy the movie for. That's your prerogative. However, I feel like if you're making a movie that's based on history, true events, and a real life person, I feel that you should at least try to hire an actor that embodies that person in some way. Like, I know it's not possible to recreate Napoleon. He was a terrible person. I get it, but you have to at least hire a French actor. You have to at least try. And I think that although I love Joaquin Phoenix and I think he's a terrific actor, I think that if you're doing a piece, like a history piece, you really should adhere to those kind of things that are really important. And I feel that it's pretty important to not have an American actor playing a French dictator.
Why?
Because it's one thing if he's American and he's trying to do like either an accent or something. I don't hear that in the trailer at all. I see an American playing an American.
So, Mike, I mean, this is where it comes down to, because you can't make a movie and not have... You can't make an American movie, a movie made for Americans, with subtitles, or you can either do it one way, right?
Why is this movie made for Americans?
This is a movie made by a British director for an
You think it's made for an American audience? I don't believe that. I believe that movies are made for everybody.
Yeah, but if that was true, then more movies would have, look, I agree. No, I agree. This is a sketchy little conversation, right? Because my point is that all movies definitely should be made for everybody. We know that's not that's the problem, though. It's not, because American audiences have a hard time with subtitles. We don't. I don't. And I'm fine with it. And if this was made by French people or, with French cast and crew and everything like that, maybe it would be something different. because this is made by a man who's definitely trying to sell it to American audiences to get more money. I mean, let's face, people make movies for themselves. Like, these directors make movies, they want to share it with other people, but it's an art form that they put out for other people. Am I right in saying this? And you definitely think you're gonna, like, right now the big market is over in China for movies. Movies make a lot of money, so all these movies are now trying to sway that audience. But if they really wanted to sway that audience, they would just make movies in Chinese. You can't. You know, one of the biggest box office markets is America. Now, by having the character have an accent, what's the point? That's my question. Like, why have an accent? The character doesn't have an accent. He does speak French. Not the character, but the historical figure. So why even have an accent? I kind of think it's pointless. Now, we've seen a lot of movies where actors are playing famous historical figures, and they're not particularly sounding like that character or looking like that character, but we have to immerse ourselves in the idea of it.
I agree. One example would be Sofia Coppola's Marie Antoinette. I do
that's
agree
a
with that.
great example.
But I feel that, I mean, I don't think that movie was fantastic anyway, but I just feel like this is it's a real person, just like Marie Antoinette, but I feel like they have to at least try. They have to at least try. And I feel like you can tell by looking at Joaquin Phoenix, he's an American actor. And I don't know what the rest of the cast is going to bring. Like, I don't know.
It's just a weird debate to me, because
I just feel like you can't, like, if you're making a...
So you're okay with British actors playing American characters? Or American, like, this is the whole conversation. This doesn't make sense, because we just had, I don't know, I'm trying to think of...
Okay, well, it's like Queen Elizabeth, okay? You cannot, like, if you're going to have an American actress play Queen Elizabeth, which happened, at least there was sort of a British accent. They tried.
Okay.
I feel like, I mean, I don't think it was particularly effective, but they tried. Here, it doesn't seem like they're trying. It just seems like he's trying to make some big epic war movie. And I feel like epic war movies are a dime a dozen these days. So I think they should try and make this different, because it is based on a real life human.
Huh.
That's just what I feel. Like, you want to make a war movie, go ahead. You know, they're made all the time. But if you're going to base it on a human being in history, then you really should, you know. I mean, Bill and Ted got it right, for Christ's sake. I'm sorry, not to be an asshole, but I mean, it's 100% true. Bill and Ted was a comedy. It was a silly movie. It was great. We love it. However, their Napoleon actually was a little French guy. You know, like, come on, you got to try. You cannot do an American actor, you know, like, especially because Ridley Scott is British. Even if you're going to go this route and you're going to make this movie, hire a British actor or something, and maybe they'll try to do a French accent.
But that's what I'm saying. Why is the accent so important to you? To
because
have an
he
accent?
was French.
But
he was a French.
He doesn't speak in, like, the accent doesn't make it any different.
But it does if you feel like
he's still gonna be talking English, you know, in English.
But still, at least if he has an accent, you'll feel like you're watching at least some semblance of this dictator. Okay, like right now, I'm watching Joaquin Phoenix in a big hat.
But that's the whole thing. That's the immersion. Like, I mean, it's ridiculous to say, "Oh, I'm looking at Sam Neill fighting a dinosaur," or you watching a movie and believing in the characters doing their thing that they're doing. Like, yes, but how you would watch this movie and believe that he is Napoleon.
But Sam Neill is fighting a dinosaur and is not based on a real-life human being.
No, but my point is that there's an immersion in any movie. You have to completely suspend disbelief when you're watching any movie. And so when you're watching a historic movie as well, you have to suspend your disbelief and believe, hey, this guy's Napoleon. Because
he has to make me believe that he's Napoleon. That's the thing.
But it's the whole point. We didn't see the movie. We didn't even know. You're automatically judging it by...
Yes, I am based on the trailer. I am like, okay, come on. What's going on here? What is this?
I don't know why. This kind of shocks me, because we have seen so many British actors play Americans. And
Yeah.
there's that question of should that be okay?
Yes.
But
It's fine.
But it's not okay in this situation.
Because when you have, okay, say you have Kate Blanchett, who is a British actress.
I understood
okay?
that, yeah.
She's playing an American actress. She's playing with an American accent. She completely scrapped her British accent and she's coming off and portraying herself as an American. That is different than what's happening here or what I've seen in the trailer.
But my question is, would you just rather it all be in French?
I mean,
Because that to me sounds like the next logical step
well,
of what you're saying.
No, not really. You're missing the in between. The in between would be, not having the subtitles, making a movie that's, relatively coherent, where they at least have French accents.
Well, what if they do it? Since we haven't seen the movie and we're just speculating here, what if the movie starts off doing that thing that a lot of movies have figured out recently, where the characters are speaking in French and then it slowly comes into English?
Okay, well,
And then that's the whole idea of, we've seen a couple movies like this. I think Tom Cruise did this in Valkyrie, where he plays a German officer, and then his German, which is a real character. Those are real people, by the way. Same thing with Schindler's List, where a British man was playing this German, right?
okay, and it was effective.
But that's my point. Like, having the characters' voices change might be fine. Like Tom Cruise went from German to English. And so then it's basically tricking our minds into thinking they're still speaking another language.
Okay.
But we're hearing it in English. That could be intelligent. I don't know if that'll happen. I doubt it will. But would that be okay for you?
I mean, it's stretching. It's stretching. I mean, I want to be able, like, the whole point is, like, this Joaquin Phoenix is a great actor.
What nationality is he?
He's Jewish. And I think his father was, like, maybe part French.
Oh.
But I think he's Jewish. He's like a mix of, he's got a mix, but.
Well, Scott picked him, Ridley Scott, the director, picked him because he says he thinks he looks like him.
Okay, and that's fine. But at least if you're going to have an actor that you think looks like the person that we're discussing, then he should try to embody that person. I mean,
he's going to embody that person. He's just not going to do the voice.
Okay.
Which we don't have any historic document. We don't have any audio tape of his voice.
Okay.
Right?
Well, we'll see. I
don't know. It's a confusing debate because we've seen so many movies throughout our lifetimes where this has never been an issue. That's why I'm wondering now, why is this becoming an issue? Is it some kind of new hot box thing to now point out that everybody should be played by a thing?
No, see, that's where you're misunderstanding me. I do not believe that at all. I believe that a British actor can play an American, and
the only
vice
difference
versa.
is they have to completely change their voice.
I feel like if you're gonna take an iconic person in history, that's important to not fuck that up. And I feel like you should embody that person.
Well, look, you brought up Maria Antoinette, and I think it's a great example because I actually think that movie is very good. I know it could be debatable, but she was trying to do something very interesting with the source of what that history was, and kind of, I don't know, trying to change the way the style was to kind of fit a idea for people today to understand what it was like then by mixing culture. I think it's intriguing. I think that like Elvis did that recently with mixing in more modern music into the movie.
Yes.
Some people didn't like that, but I think that the point of why it was done was to hammer in a message or a tone. And I think it kind of can work really well.
Okay.
Now, Ridley Scott, he's been on a rant recently. He just loves speaking shit. He's been talking so much crap, and he's got a lot of things to say. In particular, he said to anybody who, the historians who were calling him out for the movie being historically inaccurate, he said, "Fuck you. Were you there?" So, it's an interesting thing. He said, And his quote kind of got taken out of context, basically only cutting it down to that. He followed it up by saying straight up that there have been many books written about historical. There's been 400 books written about Napoleon, just say. And then he said, as time goes on, those books start affecting each other. All writing starts affecting each other. The whole historic facts start getting blended into myth. So that's what kind of a movie he wanted to make, was more about the myth. So he's doing a lot of stuff in the trailer in particular. There's definitely a historic inaccuracy with him being, I think, at Marie Antoinette's death in the trailer,
Okay.
and that is not true. But I think he was taking a lot of the art, people who depicted Napoleon in all these different paintings and stuff. I think he was trying to turn those paintings into a movie. So there's a scene in the trailer that is based off of someone's painting. So I don't know. That was my whole question, really, is this okay? Because I also feel a little on edge with the whole idea of it. Because on one hand, I like a good history movie because I like to learn these lessons, but movies tend to give false history.
Well, yes, they do, of course, but I mean, it's kind of like smart-assy of Ridley Scott to say, were you there? Because guess what, Ridley Scott, were you there?
No, that's exactly
You know,
right.
so
I mean,
you can be a smart-ass all you want. But, I'm going to just bring up one thing that just kind of goes to what I was saying, is that the movie Spencer, this is played by an American actress, Kristen Stewart, and she played it amazingly. I thought she did really, really good playing Princess Di. So I think that's not what I'm saying, is that you can't, do the switcheroo where a British actor or a different ethnicity plays a white person or a white person plays a different ethnicity.
But in that particular situation, Kristen Stewart is playing a person who had an accent.
Yes. That's what I'm saying. Like that's
she
fine.
had a British accent.
Yeah.
She can imitate that. Otherwise, the
Yes.
whole idea, what I'm trying to say to you is, the only way that could work in what you're saying is if he talks French. He wouldn't have a French accent. That's my point. So why even have the French accent? You have to believe that the English accent, the English voice that he's using is French.
Okay,
You
well,
just
you
have
know,
to suspend disbelief.
you do have a point. You have a point. So I just don't see Joaquin Phoenix as
Why?
I don't know why. I can't
Well-
picture this. It's not, the trailer did not grab me. I'm not going to lie.
Let me ask you this. Is he a good actor?
Yes, he is.
Yes. So, is there a possibility that he's going to do something on screen here that's fantastic?
Always.
Exactly. So, I'm fascinated by it. I was more fascinated in my question about, is this okay to make historically inaccurate movies? Is it dangerous? But I also think that it is interesting to talk about an actor just, I guess that's a big question, is Joaquin Phoenix going to play Joaquin Phoenix on screen? Like sometimes an actor like him is so big now that he just starts becoming himself on screen. Will he be able to transport us into that character?
This is what I'm saying. This is exactly what I'm saying. I feel like I'm going to be watching Joaquin Phoenix, and that is not a bad thing. However, when you're trying to play a historical figure, you should embody that historical figure. So we'll see if he can do it.
Yeah, I'm saying that the actor sometimes can be,
Intense.
completely, can completely polarize a film. Like, sometimes an actor, like, that's why a lot of times Nicolas Cage has become, like, an actor like Nicolas Cage can become kind of a meme or a joke in a movie, because now we're seeing him. We want to go see him do something. And it's not particularly the character he's playing. We kind of just want to see him. And that can get ruined, because some actors just melt into the films or their roles. Joaquin Phoenix has done that for me. He's always kind of melted into the roles, but is he becoming so big that he's starting to blend into, oh, we're going to see Joaquin Phoenix play Napoleon. Like, I want to see how that turns out for me, because when I saw the trailer, I do see that Joaquin Phoenix thing, but I do feel like he could shock me and do something really interesting, because the character is the historic figure that this movie is based on is an interesting character.
I mean, yeah, of
And
course.
so there could be a lot there.
I mean, I could be totally way off base, but it's just my, this is before and after, so I'm telling you my thoughts going into the movie, and it might not be popular opinion, but I just don't feel that the trailer just did not grab me. That's all. It didn't. So hopefully my opinion will change by the end of this. I'll come out saying, okay, I was wrong, and I would say I was wrong about this if I feel that way. I will say it.
I would hope so. I would hope
Just
you
saying.
wouldn't just say, like, I'm gonna defend myself. Yeah, I think the trailer did grab me. I really dig this trailer. I love that he is using. First off, he's gonna, if anything, the directing is gonna be incredible. He's an interesting director. He does hit and misses, so it could be really interesting. So I'm hoping that stylized thing will be elevated, and I hope that that's what works. I really love in the trailer they're playing like war pigs, which is really neat. I kind of love that, but of course there's going to be people like you're saying with that historic timing. Oh well, they should play more. No. Like, I can understand we're okay with score, but I would really like to see that intense use of musics and stuff like that. I think that'd be really neat.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, let's go check it out.
I need to warn you. The storm is near. Napoleon is coming.
And we're back. We just saw the movie. You said 2 hours and 38 minutes?
That's correct.
Could you imagine a 4.5 hour version of this movie?
I can't imagine that, but it's happening. According to Ridley Scott, he's going to put it out on Apple TV.
Yeah. That's how much stuff he filmed in this film.
I can definitely understand that.
Yeah, I can too.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of things I feel like they're missing in the film.
Yeah.
A lot of characters, a lot of plot points kind of disappear.
It's pretty evident that they do, like a lot. I mean, I guess some people won't notice, but I did.
Yeah, like his brother.
His brother, the fact that Josephine had 2 kids.
Well, one of them shows up again, but yeah, not the son.
But not through the whole movie,
Yeah, not really talked about. I guess it's more focused on him and the things that matter to him. But you think his brother would be a big part of that, and his mother.
Well, I mean, his mother did have a little bit of play in the movie, but not enough.
She is a central part of who he is and why he is the way he is.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of odd to not really circulate around her a little bit more.
Yeah, I get it.
I know that they're trying to hit the biggest moments in this person's life. And that would really have to do with Josephine and his battles.
Yeah.
Those are the epic thing, especially since they're using the apparent letters between the two characters throughout.
Yeah, I feel like, I mean, weren't they all lost, though?
They were sold off, so I think that they actually have retrieved them. And I think that's where a lot of his persona has come from.
Okay.
It's kind of funny, though, because so many things that have become myth about this character, or this I hate to say character. He was a historical figure. Mm-hmm. But there's so many things about him that have become more of a character that this movie doesn't even touch on. Like the hand in the shirt myth.
Yeah.
The idea that he had like a third nipple and all this stuff. A lot of crazy stuff like that. Or the reason that one of the pyramids, the statues at the pyramids, has no nose is because they were testing fire at it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things like that.
They put in something about, they did have like one shot of the pyramid thing. But
Yeah, and him firing on the pyramids is what stopped the strength of that.
Yeah.
They were willing to destroy artifacts, like legendary things, to beat him. That part of it is great. I don't know how you feel about it, but the parts about his military feats are pretty awesome.
I think that Ridley Scott did an amazing job filming this movie. I will say that I liked the whole the battlefield scenes were just completely engrossing.
Yeah.
And they were disgusting, and he put gore when needed, but not oversaturated.
Yeah.
And there were some beautiful cinematography things like happening here, like the set pieces. I don't know where they filmed this movie, but these buildings and the art, just the ceilings, and just, I mean, everything about the architecture that was in this movie was breathtaking.
Yeah, the costumes were great.
Yes. Yeah. I think he did a pretty good job filming this film. I really do. I will say that it's shocking to see that Joaquin Phoenix is actually 5'8".
Yeah.
And Napoleon, the real Napoleon, was 5'6".
Okay.
But what's funny, I was thinking, is that it's amazing what a presence Joaquin Phoenix has on screen, because he played Johnny Cash.
Yeah.
Who was literally 6'2".
I was going to tell you. I was going to talk about that when we were talking in the before.
He was a giant, and he played Johnny Cash, and you didn't even notice those little kind of details that he's much shorter than the real Johnny Cash.
Yeah.
Because he has such, it's imposing, like an imposing presence. He's so intense, like his acting, but also his face.
Yeah.
He just he has an intensity, kind of like Sean Penn. Like, you look at Sean Penn on screen and you're afraid of this guy. I mean, he just has an imposing way about him. And I love Joaquin Phoenix's ability to act with his face. It's great. So, yeah, what else you got?
Yeah, no, so yeah, in the before we were talking a lot about history and versus whatever. I think they did a really good job. I'm sure that as time goes on, this movie's going to be ripped up a lot about history stuff. And I'm not one to even be able to talk about it because I don't know enough about it. I really don't. But you can tell that there are certain things in history that are being played with here. But that's for time. And
sure.
I understand that these movies have to boil down to a core idea. And this movie's really the core idea of who this person is.
Yeah, you could tell they had to put a lot into a 2.5-hour movie. This goes without saying, because it happens with a lot of I want to say biopics or things like that, where you have to kind of consume all you can in a certain amount of time. And I feel like with something like this, it's almost impossible to put every little detail into a 2.5-hour movie.
Yeah.
I think that he condensed it enough so that you understand and you get it. But like you said earlier, there's a lot of things that need to be in there that were not. So I felt like there was a little bit missing, but it didn't drag me out of the movie. So I will say that in our before review, I was a little bit jacked up on the idea of Joaquin Phoenix not having an accent. But you were right. You ended up being right. I didn't really feel that it was all that necessary for him to have an accent, because we're learning about the man, not the accent. But I think that it would have maybe, now that I watched the movie and I see how he acted in it, I feel like if he had an accent, it probably would have made it would have taken me out of the movie a little bit.
Yeah, I think so too. I feel like the accent might have hindered some of the performance.
Yeah, you think it might have been too much, because maybe, just because of the way Joaquin Phoenix, he was portraying this person, that he was brooding and very, I don't know, how do you describe a somber speaker?
Yeah.
Like a somberness. So he had that in his personality and his character, and how he acted in the movie. So if you put an accent on top of that, he would be damn near impossible to understand.
Yeah.
And I don't think that the movie necessarily needed him to have that accent. I think they got the point across without making the audience uncomfortable with a bad accent if he would have given a bad accent.
Yeah, a lot of times that can hurt a film. So yeah,
So
I think that's true.
I stand corrected with the, saying that he couldn't do it right. I stand corrected on that.
I got it wrong with my guess that maybe they would do that transition from French and like kind of saying as you go along, you kind of get numb to it and it just soaks into you. So they do that talking in French and then slowly go into it. I can't remember what it was recently that did it where it was started fading away, the subtitles. I remember that being kind of cool. I don't remember who did that recently, but
I don't remember either.
yeah, as they slowly transitioned into us learning that they're speaking our language, like we're supposed to be,
right,
hearing their language. So now, yeah, I guess so the next thing to talk about is, I'm blanking out on what I wanted to say about Joaquin Phoenix in general. I felt like the movie kind of has an idea that this person is about kind of this idea that he's being ruled by women and that he basically, they have that idea why he's the Napoleon complex, right? Where he, a lot of people just say because he was short, but it was like he really needed to live up to the idea that his mother had set forward, although I feel like the movie doesn't really get to that point well. They're hinting at it, and they start touching on it more when Vanessa Kirby's character comes in, plays Josephine.
She's fantastic, by the way.
She's a really good actress. I'm glad to see her coming more and more into everything we're seeing.
Yeah, I liked her in this role.
I heard she was in The Crown, which we've never watched, which I heard is really good.
No, but she was a badass in Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
The new one. We really liked it.
She might be in the Fantastic Four movie.
Ooh.
She might be Miss...
Sue Storm?
Yep.
Sweet. I'll take it. She's really pretty. I think she did a really good job in this.
She has some really captivating eyes.
She does, yeah.
Which is really interesting because so does Joaquin. So the two of them together is like really a lot of facial acting.
Yep.
And I don't know if they hammered on the point of his character in that enough.
They didn't.
This idea that I love. There's this great scene. I think it's in the trailer already, so it doesn't even matter to say it. But where she's basically saying to him, "I'm the most important thing in your world," because he's trying to be, "I'm so powerful. I'm so strong. I'm so important."
Yeah.
And then she's like, "No, I am."
Which is there was a really good scene. I thought her scenes, every scene that she had with him was fantastic because he was the most arrogant little shit on the planet, and he just thought the world of himself. But in reality, it seems like he really didn't. He had this woman.
No, yeah.
I mean, she had him by the balls.
He just wanted to be loved very badly.
Yeah, and I feel like it's hard to do a movie like this because these events all took place, so long ago that really there's no one's around to tell the story anymore. No one's around, to say, hey, this is how Napoleon was. There's just endless books. There's just letters.
I'm sure there's
things
letters
like that.
and stuff like that.
Yeah, but I would really love to know. Like, I don't know anything about his father or.
Yeah, I would have liked to have seen
there,
that. I would have liked to have that that kind of backstory, the little bit of his childhood, of why he became this way. It just jumps right into it.
Yes, it does. It's a very fast-paced movie. When especially the scenes on the battlefield, those scenes were incredibly shot. I mean, they were just beautiful.
Yeah, I will say though, pointing out because you just brought that up, I will bring up that the only time I realized the runtime, or I felt like it was going on a little too long, was actually probably the most important battle, the Battle of Waterloo. Mm-hmm. That's the first moment in the movie where I was like, okay, I actually just got a little tired.
yeah, it starts hitting you at that mark right
I got
there.
numb right around that area.
I was like, okay, well, we know what's going to happen not too long after this, so it can't go on much farther,
Yeah.
much longer. But I started to feel it, yeah, at the end. I started to feel it. But overall, I feel like, so yes, I was wrong that, he needed that accent. They shouldn't have, when I said that they shouldn't have picked an American to play this role, I was pretty off on that because I think that Joaquin did a really good job. This is a tough situation to do. I mean,
Yeah.
I would feel like for an actor, that's tough.
And now I got to ask you another topic about this movie. It's going for humor.
Okay, so we had some people in our theater that were laughing where I feel like laughter was not appropriate.
I think it was trying to go for it. I think it was kind of playing kind of a pathetic light.
I mean,
On
well,
the
there's one
character?
scene where he asks her, his wife, he says, "Why aren't you pregnant yet?"
Oh, yeah.
And everyone in the theater started laughing. I'm like, is this supposed to be funny?
It wasn't even that there was a couple big moments, especially where they were trying to overthrow there was a coup sequence, and there's a lot of him running and falling and acting like a coward, and then saying, "Nope, I'm not a coward," that kind of stuff, and it kind of portrayed him in a bumbling idiot kind of light, where he, I wonder how much that will anger people, because he is kind of like held as one of these people that really did all these accomplishments. Mm-hmm. Which the end of the movie even nails it even more, about his accomplishments are kind of even worse than they might be held. So this movie kind of might portray things in even more of a weird, bad light that maybe I don't know, but I would have to look into it further. I think even Ridley Scott was asked about it. That French reporters, I think Khan, were kind of like saying that this is kind of looking down, and his response was, "Well, I didn't hear any boos." Mm-hmm. So it's more Ridley Scott being like,
he's
"Hey,
kinda
shut
arrogant.
the fuck up."
He's,
Yeah, he's very.
I mean,
Yeah, he comes across very arrogant.
one might say he has Napoleon syndrome.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I was wondering though, do you think that there definitely is some moments of like I just a little bit of a humorous side to a lot of scenes.
Yes, there are.
There
See,
definitely are.
tonally, this movie is a little bit all over the place. And that's one thing that kind of irked me a little, because you would literally be in a battle where arms are flying off and, people are just being blown up. And then quickly it just switches over back to Josephine and him sitting on a couch having just a moment. It just goes up and down, up and down, up and down a lot. So and also you're right, there was a little bit of a bumbling air to him, like in his acting, in some scenes.
A lot of characters, like it opens up really quick. One of the opening battles, amazing CG. He loses his horse, and he reaches in and grabs a cannonball out of it. And you think it's this moment where he's going to be sad about losing his horse, but he grabs the cannonball out of its body and hands it to his brother and says, "Give it to mother." And it just kind of sets this tone of almost a comic light of him. And I think the movie keeps doing this. There's a really odd cut where he's told that his wife might not be faithful to him. And they cut to this next shot is of the man telling him that, the guy who was just told him that. It looks like he is masturbating, but he's washing his hands. Mm-hmm. And I think that kind of shocked everybody.
I'm not gonna lie to you, I thought he was masturbating too.
It's such a jarring shot, especially since they just cut from a scene about talking about unfaithfulness, and that shot. It was like, this is definitely done tonally on purpose from Ridley Scott. Like there's a lot of that where he's playing with stuff, like especially like the scene in the trailer as well, where Josephine kind of she spreads her legs and says, you know, once you see this,
it,
you'll
you're
never
gonna want it. You're always
forever.
gonna want it. Yeah.
Which is like that taking that liberties of that's almost comical. Like that's a comical scene because he looks down slowly, his acting, and it's definitely that tone. And I can see that pissing off people playing with history in a way where they're also comedically hitting it.
Yeah, but I get it because that's like, I guess that's Ridley Scott's way of kind of that's his kind of crazy way of making it, of saying, hey, this is his girl. Like he's gonna love her forever. Like this is their thing.
I mean, yeah, but
you know,
I mean, I'm just for the whole movie though.
But it was an odd way of saying it. Yes, I get it. He had some odd ways of portraying things.
I mean, that's a huge liberty to take. I mean,
it is.
I mean, the comedic tone throughout the movie, even the ending, is done in a comedic way. You know, and it's odd. I could see it pissing people off, but I don't know. That's a weird thing I noticed throughout the whole film, where I was like, that's interesting. It did keep me invested though, wanting to watch more.
It really did, and there's like, I mean, it did make me want more in the fact that I wanted to have more information given to me because there was like, you know, we talked about things missing out of the plot and stuff, but
Yeah, I'm guessing that's in the 4-hour cut.
I would love to know, like, yeah, the 4-hour
Yeah.
cut. I would love to know what happened to his son. He had another child with another woman. Like, there's a lot of things that are missing out of this. So I was hoping that in the end, you know, they would give us something, just a tidbit.
A little bit more of his dirt would have been nice, I think.
Yeah, but like we were saying, I mean, the tone went up and down for me. It was a bit of a roller coaster for me as a movie because you're just getting, you know, pardon the expression, blown away on the battlefield, you know, with all the crazy beautiful shots that he got. I mean, he got some beautiful shots, but then immediately he's in a carriage riding back home, and it's like, okay, so you're taken out of that, and then 5 seconds later you're back into it, and it was like,
Oh yeah.
okay, I'm exhausted, I need a nap.
Yeah, I mean, it goes quick.
It's very quick.
And you feel like you need a little bit more setup or payoff to each battle to understand what was just happened a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But they move quick enough that you're just keeping with it, you know. I will say that you were right with the people laughing in the theater at the wrong moments because there were kids that they were laughing at a scene where they all open up a sarcophagus, and I was like, I don't know why they're laughing at this scene.
I didn't get it.
It's probably to show just how uncaring he was about things. Like he didn't care about it at all.
I mean, he was completely a nut job. I mean, according to the history and the things I've read about him, he was a nut job, and that's what makes me. This is why I want more, because I want to know, like, why did this woman fall in love with him? I mean, they were obsessed with each other. Why?
I don't know if she was obsessed with him. I think she was obsessed with the idea of having the power.
I think so too, but they don't really delve into that too much. She has her character is very oddly set up. I really wish that I could have had a little bit more with the character development. I hate saying character development because these were real people, but you know what I mean. I would like to know more. I feel like history is given to us in kind of like, you know, doses in this.
Yeah.
And then they put us in and then they take us out, and they put us in and they take us out.
True.
So it was kind of up and down for me, but overall I thought it was well acted.
Yeah, I do too.
Beautifully directed, beautiful cinematography. I enjoyed myself watching this movie. I don't know if I could watch it again.
Yeah. I mean, I'm intrigued to know what the 4 hours are, but I would love release the Scott cut.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, I'm not going to sit through that, but you know,
I'm interested though.
I would be interested to watch a couple of special features on this, but I don't think I will ever watch this movie again. I think it's a one and done because of subject matter, you know. But I did think I did come out feeling differently than when I went in.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
there's that.
All right. So final scores.
I'm gonna give this a 7.
Yeah, I think that's perfect.
I'm gonna give
for
it a
this.
7 because it's way better than mediocre. That's for damn sure, and it's better than good, and that would be a 6. So I'm gonna say I don't think this movie was great. I don't think it
No.
blew my mind, but it was a pretty good movie.
I would
So,
even say where Joaquin is really good at a good actor, and he's definitely good here. It is more subdued throughout. It's a lot of very, they're keeping him a little silent throughout.
yeah, he's held back. He's definitely held back.
Yeah, he comes out when he needs to. There's some great moments. I wouldn't say it's the top notch of him or anything.
This is not the best
So, yeah.
he's done. We all know which one that is, but I'm not gonna say that he did good. I mean, he definitely did really good in this.
I'm
He did good.
fascinated. What's the best?
Oh.
You said you're not going to say what that is. Well, I now really need
Well,
to
because
know.
I thought he was fantastic as Johnny Cash. I loved it.
That's the one?
Yeah, that's my favorite role of his.
I'm going to say The Master.
I
That
know
movie's
you were
not even
gonna say
that good.
I don't like that movie.
And he's so good in it.
Well, he's great. He's great.
so good
And
in
people
that
will say
movie.
the Joker, but I'm not going to say that. I think he was great as Johnny Cash. I feel like he embodied that role. So.
I really thought that you were going to say Space Camp.
Well, that was a different person, Scott. I mean, that was Leaf Phoenix.
Can you,
that was back then when he was being called Leaf.
Can you do the robot?
You want me to do Max? Hold on.
Max.
Max.
In space.
Space. Friend.
So that movie's
Bye,
great.
Max.
That movie's so much fun. Oh my god.
I love it. Do you know how many people's careers got started with that freaking movie?
That movie has everybody in
I mean,
it.
think about it. First of all, Kate Capshaw, and then you got Kelly Preston.
Oh, Gillian Preston.
Oh, wait. Oh, you know who else is that? What's that actor's name? Shit. Isn't it
T.
the
Donovan?
L-A-M, the A and the R, the man on the mic that they call Lamar?
Yes, he's in
Lamar
it too.
from Revenge of the
Yeah.
Nerds. What's that
Is it
actor's
Tate
name?
Donovan? Am I right?
I think it's Tate Donovan.
Yeah, I'm going to say Tate Donovan.
Yeah, and you got who else?
From the epic
Oh,
masterpiece
freaking-
Love Potion number 9.
Oh, I love that movie. First of all,
Tom
but Leah
Skerritt.
Thompson.
Tom Skerritt.
Leah Thompson. I mean, that movie was.
What are we
like,
talking about here
great.
again?
Joaquin Phoenix.
I
and
thought
how
we were
cool
talking about
he
Space
is.
Camp. I thought this was a whole podcast on Space Camp for a minute there.
Wait, Space Camp was in '86. So yeah, he was just a little kid. He was still a leaf. I mean, he was actually born Joaquin.
Yeah, I
think
know.
he was born Joaquin, but his parents were hippies. They named everyone Rainbow and
Yeah.
River and Summer and what's the other one? Liberty and all that stuff. But yeah, I love. Okay, so Larry Scott is Rudy. Yeah, he's the best. You know, he used to run around in Revenge of the Nerds too in them little leopard print underwears.
Oh, yeah, unfortunately, I'll never forget it.
I love that shit. That movie was so funny.
All right, so we both are suggesting this movie.
Okay, I'm getting off topic here.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
I love how my audio spikes on certain words. Yeah, so we both suggested. We liked it a lot more than we thought.
I definitely liked it a lot more than I thought because I definitely had some reservations going in.
I did too.
That changed when I saw it. So
I don't think I pointed out my reservations in the before, but I did.
You know, because we were a crunch for time, so I kind of scooted you out of here. But
Yeah, we
sorry
did. We
for the
did cut that
scoot.
short. Yeah.
Scoot.
You know what next week is though?
Next
The
week.
big man.
The big man.
Big man.
Yep. Well,
Godzilla.
What are we gonna do for the big man? Big event.
We're gonna see it on Screen X, surround picture
I
of
feel like
the big man crushing an entire city.
we should have a party. You know, like just because, you know, we always celebrate the big man. He actually just had a birthday.
He sure did.
I did not bake a cake.
I know. All right. So thanks for listening, everybody. You can hit us on social media. Tell us what you think. Are you looking forward to the 4-hour Snyder Cut? Snyder Cut?
Schneider.
I wanted to say Rob Schneider.
He's a carrot.
Yeah,
Derpy
stapler.
derpy.
Release the Scott cut. Are you looking forward to the 4-hour version of this film?
Nobody's looking forward to that. Okay.
Hit us on social media at the Crafty Misfit. That's Joe, and I am at Just Another Movie Night. And as always, thank you for listening. We appreciate you, and have a good one.
Je vais pousser un triomphe terrible en rousse avec mes water slide. I don't think it's gonna work. No? Triomphe Napoleon.
Sir, Q, thank you very much. Q, go f yourself. Go on. So, go on.